Sawadee krap, I'm JP Mestanza, and today is Friday, September 29th. You're watching Phuket Extra, brought to you by pbcphuket.com. A delegation representing small hotels in Phuket has appealed to the Senate for help in allowing small and boutique hotels on the island to finally legally register as hotels, a task they still can't do despite new regulations brought into effect this year, specifically allowing them to do so. The ministerial regulations amendments went into effect on June 7th of this year, and it finally allowed small hotels to register to be legally recognized as hotels. The law came into effect with its promulgation in the Government Gazette on June 20th. However, despite the ministerial regulation, operators still cannot register their businesses as small hotels due to another ministerial regulation issued by the Ministry of Natural Resources regarding area demarcation and environmental protection measures in Phuket. However, exactly which environmental measures in effect in Phuket prevented small hotels from registering was not explained. The issue affects only small hotels in Phuket trying to become legally registered. The whole thing flies in the face of officials, including the Phuket Governor and the President of the Tourism Council of Thailand, Chamnan Srisawat, making a big show back in June of telling small hotel operators that they can finally legally register as hotels. The Boutique Accommodation Consortium, Phuket, is set to, once again, bring this issue to the Prime Minister during his visit to Phuket today. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. 148 billion baht, that's the budget that the Transport Ministry is requesting from the government to upgrade Phuket's infrastructure and includes the construction of a second airport in the region. Boosting tourism to the Andaman region, especially Phuket, is one of the big priorities for this new government, and a transport minister revealed plans yesterday. The Bangkok Post reports that the ministry is preparing to propose 7 infrastructure projects worth 148 billion baht to improve both land and air transport to facilitate incoming visitors to Phuket and to maximize the island's capacity for investment, economy, trade, and national security, according to reports. The transport minister said that the 7 projects include multiple highways across Phuket, highway extensions, overpasses, and the second Phuket airport, though all reports say it would actually not be in Phuket, it would actually be in Phang Nga province, just north of the island. He noted that the budget should be distributed during fiscal year 2024, and some of the projects should be completed by 2026, especially highway projects, so locals and tourists can easily access Phuket via land transport. Phuket Vice Governor Amnoy Pinsuwan said local government agencies and the business sector are ready to propose their demands to Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin during his tour of Phuket today. For more, visit thephuket.news.com.
I was sure that it'll be easier to clear you from my mind. I wish you fall off from the window, take a bad trip to the ground. Ooh, ain't been the pleasure, see pressure just before you break a bone.
Phuket officials have been instructed to prepare for a return to the CEO Governor system, first introduced under Thaksin Shinawat's administration more than 20 years ago. Phuket Vice Governor Amnoy Pinsuwan chaired a meeting of the Phuket Provincial Hall on Wednesday to ensure local administrations got the message from the Ministry of Interior Permanent Secretary. The aim is to return to a, quote, administration in the form of integrated provincial governors, aka the Governor CEO. The CEO Governor system arose from the policy of reforming the civil service system by applying the management concepts of private businesses and was rolled out back in 2003 under the Thaksin Shinawat government. Of note, when this same system was implemented under that Thaksin administration in the early 2000s, the main point promoted was that CEO governors had more latitude in dealing with problems specific to the province that they were designated to govern. In reality, the result was the end of any real effectiveness of provincial administrations that operate under the Department of Provincial Administration. In Phuket, that organization is the Phuket Provincial Administration Organization, the PPAO, or the Obojo. Other than the 3 members of parliament that represent Phuket, the highest elected official on the island is actually the president of the PPAO, a position currently held by Rewat Arirob. Despite what some might believe, the governor of Phuket, like all other provincial governors in Thailand, are selected and appointed by officials in Bangkok. Current Phuket Governor Narong Muchel is set to retire from public service this Saturday, and his replacement is set to take up the post this Sunday with no election. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. The former head of a national park accused of murdering the man who was suing him and his agency, he's been acquitted of the murder of Karen rights activist Porlaji Ratchongcharoen, also known as Billy, 9 years ago, though the former chief is still getting 3 years in prison for misconduct over the man's disappearance. This story goes back well over a decade. Billy was an ethnic Karen from a village whose home was inside the Keng Krachan National Park in western Phetchaburi province. In 2011, park officials, including the head of the national park at the time, Chaiwat Limliklik Aksong, had forcibly evicted over 20 Karen families and burned 100 homes. Billy sued the park chief, Chaiwat, for allegedly ordering the eviction and burning their homes. 3 years later, in April 2014, Chaiwat and his men detained Billy for allegedly harvesting wild honey. Billy was never seen from again. His family members and others have for years tried to sue Chaiwat over Billy's disappearance to no avail, as there was no evidence of wrongdoing. And a court in 2016 even found that national park officials did not break the law in burning villagers' houses in 2011. Anyway, nothing happened until 2018, when the DSI reopened the investigation into the man's disappearance, and in the following year, they found bone fragments that matched Billy's DNA. Those bone fragments were found in an oil drum at the bottom of a flooded reservoir in the park. The subsequent murder case has wound through the legal process until this week, when a court found that there was insufficient evidence to find Chaiwat guilty over Billy's alleged murder, along with 3 other alleged accomplices. The court also stated that there wasn't enough evidence to prove that Billy was murdered and placed doubt on the DNA evidence collected from bone shards. However, Chaiwat, who was appointed the director of the National Parks Office in February, has now been sentenced to 3 years in jail for not reporting Billy's detention to police and for malfeasance. For more, visit the link in the description. Thank you so much for joining us today on Phuket Extra, brought to you by PVCPhuket.com. We'll see you in October. Until then, stay classy, Phuket.
Phuket's rapid modernization has made it one of the world's premier holiday destinations. Investors can still buy quality condominiums for as low as $75,000 and luxury properties can go all the way up to 20 million. Condominiums in Phuket are a safe, secure bricks-and-mortar investment offering foreigners freehold ownership. Call or email Thai Residential, Phuket's #1 trusted real estate advisor, to find your perfect Phuket property.